everyone. Welcome to Get Out of Rap TV. Tuesday. It is Tuesday today, May the 28th. For those of you that did, hope you had a lovely bank holiday. It's great to be back. We seem to have done a few of these where we're following a bank holiday. So hopefully this is going to get you right back into your week. First of all, of course, I've got to thank my partners, Evaluagent, DDC, and OneCom. I couldn't do this without them. I couldn't do anything without them. I couldn't eat. So it is really good to be back and to kick off the week with this show. Let's start with, shall we? Let's say hello in the comments. I'm sure there are people that have watched the show regularly. If this is your first time watching and you haven't commented before, please do drop a comment in. So here she is, Raymondo. Hey, Raymondo. How are you? Long time no see, which is a big pity and all down to me. What was your first job? Let's get to know each other. Raymondo's was probably something to do on the screen, like an actress or just a big movie star, I reckon, from the get go. Tristan, good morning. Good morning, Tristan. And there he is. Fastest fingers in the West, Danny. You got to be careful what I mean by that. Amanda as well. Good morning. How are you? And Nick is here. Hello, Nick. Good to see you, buddy. So, what was your first job? I was trying to think of mine when I did this. I worked. I got a Saturday job working in a store in Middlesex called Cromwell's, and I unfortunately I got the sack, and it wasn't my fault though. I have to add, a friend of mine wrote a negative comment about our manager on our staff notice board. Um, when she confronted him, he said it was me. Like, so Kerry's here. Hello, Kerry. No way. Bingo, call it in a social club. Eyes down, looking. We're playing for four corners. I bet you're good at that. Joe is here. Good morning, Joe, mate. How are you? Very happy with the win on the weekend, I imagine. Oh, look, the legend that is Neris. Started waitressing at 13 and did that for 5 years. One of my daughters here does that actually and started young at our local Turkish restaurant. Danny, my first job was a beast of a paper round, only 2-3 days per month, but over 8,000 to be delivered on foot across an entire town. Wow, that's a big one. Working in a local convenience store at 13. These are great. Amanda, that's great. Nick says, my first job while at school was in a butcher's, cleaning up at the end of each day. First full time job was a lab technician doing tests on pharmaceuticals. It's interesting, isn't it? I think back to all the other things I did as well as working in that shop. After that, I was a laborer, I've been a bin man, I've been a cleaner. I've pretty much done all of those types of jobs. Lol, says Raymondo. First job was as a civil servant for the Ministry of Agriculture. Tractor selfies weren't allowed, so I left. That's brilliant. Tristan says, first job that I never started was at B&Q. I was replaced by self-service checkout machines before I completed the training. I don't know why I'm laughing, Tristan. I'm sorry for you, the previous version of you. Following that failure, I had a job in an outbound call center. Great, not contact center. We only used the phone. Well, that was my first real job when I left uni, selling stationery in a call center in Wembley. Joe says, I sold pies at Motherwell FC's Fir Park, age 16. Were they nice pies, Joe? These are great. Does anyone else have the Human League as an earworm from all of these? I was working in a different. Oh yeah, I should have had that as a backdrop, Danny, shouldn't I? But these are brilliant. These are absolutely brilliant. Do you think that these kind of shaped your attitude to work, or was it just all a bit kind of I guess, some of your first experiences of working with people, you see not the best, I would say, I would say, but I did love the interaction. Um, Anyone else got anything else? These have been brilliant. Um, Very, very good. I'm loving them. And Kerry, you've got to give us more information about the bingo caller. Were you any good? Were you just making up the numbers? Do some of these still stick with you? When you see a number that comes up in bingo, do you say whatever the thing was? Now, if no one's got any more, I'm a little bit nervous about this one actually. I like I said to you, I don't hate, but I'm not a fan of I don't hate anything, but maybe Arsenal. Kerry says, I then worked in a soft play. I often had to dress up as a mascot, Leo the lion. And at older kids' parties, they used to basically beat you. Brilliant. Hey, Chris, how you doing? Good morning, everyone. After school, my first job was as a graphic designer, but now I've transitioned into cybersecurity. Oh, that's nice. That's good. You can give me some feedback, Chris, on my graphic design skills. I was rubbish, and everyone just used to yell at you. You aren't calling my number, love. Some of these experiences are great, aren't they? Yeah. So, as I mentioned, I am a little bit nervous about this one. I put on LinkedIn. I wanted to share some news. I wanted to share it with you guys first. Oh, hold on. Greetings from New Zealand. First job walking checks between banks in the 80s. Went pretty well until I lost one. Alistair. Oh, no. Alistair, that's a cracker. Now, if you're not connected with Alistair, please do. His posts are brilliant on LinkedIn. Kerry sees it unlucky for some. 18. Just call them with the wrong descriptions. I would have gone just make them up. Stood at the bus stop. 12. There's a whole row of stuff there. Now, Danny, you'll be pleased to know this next bit, my news for you, does come with a video. So it's time to run VT. Look, Get Out of Rap has won an award. A bit of a surprise, but this is from SME News. The Business Elite Awards, Best Contact Center Industry Company 2024. So absolutely buzzing to win this. Look, I never thought. I mean, it is award. We're starting award season, aren't we? So I never thought there's any chance of me getting one. So yes, it's a VT. Yay! And Chris says, I'm looking for a job opportunity in this field. If anyone could help, I would greatly appreciate it. Well, Chris, please do connect with everyone you see here. I'm sure we can help. Boom. Yes, boom indeed. Thanks, Raymondo. Naturally, I'm going to be sharing stuff about this. SME News is a publication that I follow. It's always got some nice tips for small, medium, and entrepreneurs. And it was a bolt out of the blue. I never, I never applied. But what they'd done their research, and what they liked was the innovation of Get Out of Rap, the podcast, seeing that it was the first one about our industry in the UK, certainly, about this show and about the team leader community. So I'm going to see if I can get this put in a chain and just wear it all the time. But yeah, this was nice. A nice moment, because doing this show is amazing, but there are some tough times. So yes, very, very happy. And thank you very much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thanks, Tristan. Thanks, Nick and Kerry. And Aman, hello. Thank you. That's awesome. Yeah, I'm absolutely buzzing. I have got some other things. Like I found out when the girls were here doing work experience. So we there we go. I've changed things. I'm going to add confetti in now for the rest of the show. I hope it doesn't get too annoying. Thank you, Chris. But the girls wanted to get involved in what would be a what's the marketing plan? And I said, well, I'm going to announce it on Get Out of Rap TV, but that'll be it. But they came up with this. So they did this. Hang on. Not bad, is it, for two 15-year-olds? So I really like that. But my absolute favorite is this. And then I promise you, I won't mention it again. So this is my favorite.
Last but not least, I want to thank me. I want to thank me for believing in me. I want to thank me for doing all this hard work. I want to thank me for having no days off. I want to thank me for never quitting. I want to thank me for always being a giver and trying to give more than I receive. I want to thank me for trying to do more right than wrong. I want to thank me for just being me at all times.
I said that is the end of it. You don't need to worry about any more mentions. Let's get on with the show. If you're still with me, everyone might have gone now. So I wanted to think about the question for the day. Actually, maybe that confetti, is that confetti a bit annoying? What approach works best for providers looking to sell you their service? And I guess we might be selling our services ourselves. You might be watching and you sell your service, but you're probably also the recipient of sales approaches. When we think about vendors in our industry and how they kind of put their services forward to you, I'd love to, what approach works best, do you think? And that, I'm not just thinking technology here, I'm thinking whether it's outsourcing, whether it's individual services, whether it's consultancy. What do you think works best? Love the second one, and very you style marketing. Yeah, that's true. Thank you, guys. Like I say, I'm not gonna mention it anymore. In fact, I will get rid of the confetti. It could get a bit much. So, what approach do you think works best? Thank you, Amanda. We should. But of course, I couldn't do anything without all of you guys. So, I love you all very much. Understand me first, says Danny. That means at least look at my profile, start a conversation to listen to me, consider me first, find my pain, so you can then offer how best to fix it. Don't just 10 times my lead generation. Yeah, very true. Some of the approaches, I would say, belie the fact that they don't really care who you are in the first instance. They're just carpet bombing LinkedIn. One that clearly explains what they are selling, the value proposition, and how it fits in with me and my business, says Kerry. I've done a LinkedIn rant about this, says Neris. I love one of your LinkedIn rants. But same as Danny, don't be lazy. Do your homework and work out the value of the partnership. Yeah, that's very true. Just kind of, done well is better than just done half-heartedly and sending out hundreds of random contacts. Alistair says, start with the customer's problem. Do your research into their service, pain points, and how you can tailor a solution. Don't go in with a product pepper spray and hope something sticks. Very true. And Nick says, get to know me and my business. Don't give me a standard sales pitch. Tailor it for me. Ask my opinion on anything. If I don't appear to be engaging with you, your product. Very true, Nick. I'm impressed with the difference you're making in the entrepreneurial space. Your successes are world leading. Buy my stuff. Very, very true. And I think one of the things is how do you do something a little bit different? I'm not sure if he's watching today, but the very first time I got to know Clayton, it was because Clayton sent me a video on LinkedIn just of himself talking. Um, but he'd obviously looked at my profile. I wasn't actually selling anything, just wanted to be connected and get to know each other. And that for me stood out. It was genuinely curious. And he's a lovely guy. So, and he came across well. But that was a bit different. Bev says, context, explain how they've come to single me out, and accuracy. Yeah, that's true. Isn't it? I've lost count of how many emails I've received offering me something where they blatantly haven't worked out that I'm a one-man band. Well, one man apart from on a Wednesday. Here's the rant. Yes. Here is the rant. Go and check that out, everyone. It will be worth the click. Neris's rants are some of the best, especially when they're put to a rap. I love open and honesty. I love nothing more than understanding what or how something works. That includes what won't work. It's interesting, isn't it? I think a lot of the time they don't a lot of people and companies don't necessarily understand their audience that well, or their customers. They don't understand either how busy they are or what their challenges are, and perhaps they spend too long promising the moon, rather than saying, look, we definitely think we can help, because help us understand your problems and we'll see where we can fit, and if that works, then great. Danny said, I've said before, I've received more than one offer to sell me beekeeping equipment. Why haven't you taken it up? I mean, that could be a whole other thing. I don't know about anyone else. I love Clarkson's farm. And it was interesting to me, albeit the beekeeper didn't have any protective equipment on. But he said even when he does, he gets stung like 20 times a day. I thought it completely stopped you. So, Danny, perhaps for all of us, you can agree to one of these offers, get yourself some beekeeping equipment, and just do like a live stream. I'd watch it, definitely. Not to see you stung, but just to see how you do. Why wouldn't you? Great marketing ploy, surely. Although, what do I know? Yes, very, very funny, very good. Have you ever had an approach whilst being in your contact center, that you can remember now that you think, yeah, they nailed it, they absolutely nailed it? And if so, what was it about how they approach things that you uh a live stream of me being stung? Well, you could have a sting count. I'm just trying to think, like gamifying it. So you could have like bzz, like a buzzer, and go, yeah, that's another one. And maybe, I'm not advocating gambling, but there could be a giveaway. So more than 10 stings during this live stream, then you win a session with you, Danny, or something like that. Just thinking outside the box, thinking outside the beehive. Now, please do keep your answers coming on that. Talking of giveaways, I do have one for you. Here are the lovely people in SSCL. I spent some time with them. They ordered their planner. They are buzzing. If you would like to win one, and the odds are going to be pretty good based on the comments. So if you would like to win one, I'm going to do a prize draw. Please just comment planner. I will include you in the draw, and then we will get a winner. I will send it out to you hopefully today. So if you want to win one that you could give to somebody else, please just do it. If you won't use it, but you think you know someone that will, please just comment planner. I'll add you to a draw, and it may be that there's just one comment and that person wins it, but that's okay. Random trivia: the actor in Candyman had a clause in the contract to be paid $1,000 for each sting he received. Look at that. That is why we love you, Danny. We have every day is a school day. I don't appreciate being bombarded. This really turns me off. Yes, very, very true. There is still a lot of emails. Just putting this to the top of your inbox. It doesn't matter how many times you're going to do that. I'm not interested. Please stop filling up my inbox. So yes, very, very true. Okay, next is it's funny that, did I mention I won an award? But it came in 5 years of Get Out of Rap. So May 2019 was when I started, and coming up this Friday is the second part of the Emotional Intelligence podcast I did with Sandra Thompson, who is a lovely human being. We've done part 2. I've cut it off there on the with the Get Out of Rap badge. Chris, that's not good graphic design by me there. We did part 2. She is brilliant. It's going to be out on Friday. And when we started the recording, she surprised me with a birthday cake. I didn't get to have any of it, but I did blow out the candles. So you'll be able to see that if you watch the podcast on YouTube. But what a lovely, lovely human being Sandra is. Very apt that she'd taken the time to do that. And that's how we started the podcast. That part 2 is out on Friday. Part 1 is obviously out now, and is definitely one of the most listened to episodes this year, I would say. It's really, really interesting. Sandra absolutely knows her stuff, and what a lovely human being that she got me a cake. So far, Alistair, you are in the running to win this planner to spread some love down under. I hope you know that's geographic down under. Listen, this show has already gone off the rails, so anything goes is what I'd say. But Alistair, that's brilliant. Kerry said, I've started seeing more of this. You clearly aren't interested in sales, and I'm disappointed you didn't respond to messages. And when I look back, there is nothing to respond to, and I'm confused as to what they are trying to sell. Now, with that, I'm completely with you, and I begrudge people using up even a few seconds of my time by hooking me. A hook without substance, what's the point? It's just something. That's where you notice that they do the RE, so it looks like you've replied. So you think, did I reply to that? So I'll open it and then go, oh, they got me. They got me. But surely that isn't the way. Build a relationship first. Okay, so at the moment, Kerry, it is between you and Alistair. If it stays like that, to be honest, I'll just send you both one. Okay, probably everybody's favorite part of the show, and it gives us a chance to run both another VT and have a good chat. So where are we? Where are we? It's a read along. Here we go. So we are going through Contact Babel's decision maker guide for 2024 from UK contact center decision makers. Biggest survey that is done, gives you the most data that's out there. Albeit, we will be doing something with Kerry soon, who has done some great insight on the candidate experience. So that will be coming up. But let's crack on. We were just finishing up self-serve, and this is a great one to start with. Why customers move from web self-service to live telephony. And you can see that the red is strongly agree, the sort of salmony color is agree, yellow is neutral, light green is disagree, the dark green is strongly disagree. So the most prevalent one, that people agree with is complex issues requiring a live agent, which is interesting, isn't it? Aman, yes, I'd love a planner too. Kerry, I'm going to guess Hi Kelly is a popular start. Guaranteed to send them away. Yes, the misspelling of names. I got Hi Ashley the other day, which is a bit weird. So I thought this was interesting. Let's have a look at the others first before chatting about it. Customers wanted the reassurance of talking to someone. A lot of people agreed with that. Information functionality required was not available on the website, and still a large percentage agreed with that. Customers need to be taken through phone security. Not many agreed with that. Information functionality was available, but the customer could not find it. So when you think about that one and the information functionality required was not available on the website, those are two things that can be sorted out straight away, just with a bit of time. Top, half the time the function is there, but they can't find it. Plus middle, half the time it doesn't work. Yeah, exactly. Surely these are things that we can sort out. But I thought the bottom one was interesting. Complex issues requiring a live agent. So this is something we're hearing more and more, isn't it? The kind of, with better technology, the more transactional stuff is going to be dealt with either through AI, through self-service, but more and more customers are contacting us with complex issues that require a skilled agent that will both deal with their problem and, to the second point, reassure them. Danny says this is so interesting. Complex infers they were forced to self-serve first without the option. And I guess that is a really key point, and it's one that we spoke about last week, isn't it? With the what is that first interaction like with our customers? How many of your customers are choosing the other option or waiting to the end to say, look, I want to speak to a human being, I want to speak to a live agent? And how much data analysis are we doing of those contacts if we are really into doing as much through self-serve as possible? Because of complexity and unable to find functionality equals a lack of trust in the process. So I'll get reassurance. Very true. If you are not seeing the cause of your contact anywhere through the web or any of the other self-serve options, instantly you're feeling a little bit kind of perturbed, aren't you? And you need that reassurance that someone is going to be able to give you. Nothing better than speaking to someone that says, look, yeah, I know what I've dealt with this a lot. We have a lot of other customers saying this. Let me help you. I'm going to do X, Y, and Z, and really take control of the issue. It's very hard to do that from a self-serve option. Any more comments on that before I move to? We're heading to a slightly different world, and I don't mind admitting it's one where I didn't really know much about this. So I'm hoping the brains that you guys have out there can help. Let's have a look at this, which is when and how. Here we go. Let me just go back one, Nick, for your comment. These customer experiences have been around for years. The technology is better than years ago. Customers are more savvy. Really good point in digital terms than years ago, Nick. Is the issue caused by form over function? The website primarily being styled versus well laid out and logical to navigate? Yeah, very true. It's a very good question, Nick. Substance rather than, the appearance rather than substance. Is this customers and the business definition of complex the same? Aman, great question. What we consider complex versus what customers do. And there probably needs to be more information gathering on that for this report. Neris says, I've done tons on this topic across lots of different contact centers. They missed customers have worked out this could be a quicker way to pivot from chatbot to live agent to an agent, giving them a voice call. Yeah, so customers just being savvy, right? And going, I can't be bothered it's easier for me to speak to someone. So I'm going to fly through these options just to get to speak to someone. And I imagine, Neris, you would say that would be the most prevalent one over all of these, right? This reminds me of a scene in Demolition Man where the police call handler answers with, "You're through to the San Angeles Police Department. If you would prefer a human response, please press 1 now." Yeah, I don't mind. I don't mind admitting there were times when on the phones we would try and see if we could get confused for robots. That didn't go so well. So who knows? Excuse me. Who knows about RPA? So let's have a look at these, shall we? RPA should only be introduced when applications and processes are unlikely to change. RPA has helped to reduce average handle time. RPA has been suspended, removed from processes that have undergone change. Everything that could be automated within RPA has already been done. And there is the scene. Thank you, Danny. That's brilliant. So we're now heading to the following chart shows when and how RPA is currently used by contact center. There is general agreement that it has helped to reduce average handle time and that it is more suited to circumstances where changes to applications and processes are unlikely. For many contact centers, which can be very dynamic, this recommended requirement to remain static will not always be appropriate. Having said that, most respondents believe that RPA has not yet automated every process that could, in theory, be automated. Respondents have not generally stopped using RPA for processes that have changed, with most altering their RPA functionality accordingly. Very, very interesting. What has been your experiences of this? Neris, I analyze and watch lots of chat journeys. Human has got to be one of the highest intents in most bots. AHT on live chat for complex means it's often just easier to pick up the phone and get it sorted. I know this is a cardinal sin of stay in channel. We're very lucky to have you here, Neris, because that is very, very insightful. What do you guys think of robotic process automation? Have you used it? Have you seen it? Does this chart reflect both your experiences, your opinion? Is it something we've got a handle of in our industry, or is there much more that we could do? What do you think? Whilst you have a think, I'm just going to have a coffee with a bit of a sore throat. A bank holiday weekend of far too much excess. So it is back on the straight and narrow now. You may have seen my post about the bottomless brunch. It was phenomenal. It was brilliant, but it was extremely dangerous. So, are we bored by RPA? I didn't quite get it at first. So we're now going to go on to something that I know we have all dealt with, and that is the extent to which we are dealing with legacy systems in our contact centers. Oh, hang on. Nick, agree with Neris, says Nick. Customer service is about serving the customer. If they wish to change channel for ease, convenience, go with it. Neris says RPA is awesome. If they're a process which is systematic, end-to-end, that has little variance, RPA is the way to go. Not enough appreciation of the value of RPA. RPA, says Danny, there's a weird irony that we also do this with our people. Wow, interesting. Best practice, identical training programs, untailored reward mechanics. We're inadvertently creating RPA approaches in our advisors and team leaders. Wow. Love that, Danny. Used extensively in COVID, says Alistair, was worth around 4,000 agents to me in the social security contact centres. Lifesaver, but play it safe. Well, Alistair's your man then if you want to fully understand this, because that is some saving. Wowzers. That's brilliant. Okay, let's go on to legacy. Legacy applications form a critical part of the agent desktop environment by contact center size. So let's have a look what it says to start with. The next series of questions looks at the use and importance of legacy systems and whether they are actually needed in the contact center environment. As a general rule, legacy I'm still drunk from the weekend. Legacy applications are expensive to maintain, rewrite, or replace. Additionally, without the right kind of technology, they are difficult to integrate with other desktop applications. I think we've all seen these problems, haven't we? Of those that use legacy systems, 70% of survey respondents agree that legacy applications still form a critical part of the agent desktop environment, which suggests that for most businesses, replacing them could be a risky proposition. Tech debt. What a great phrase, Neris. Tech debt is like mold. It will either kill you or make you less clean and shiny than you should be. So, does this reflect where you guys are from legacy systems as part of the agent desktop environment? Are they prohibitive in that you have to add things in to bolt around them and hopefully integrate because you can't get rid of your legacy systems, even though you know they are not fit for purpose? Certainly, all the time I spend with agents and team leaders, one of their quickest gripes that they want to share is they have a system that's old, that has the majority of the things that they need to be able to do the job in them, but it doesn't talk to other systems. It's out of date. It could be better. What do you think? Nick says it's difficult to integrate with other systems, usually means the agent is the point of integration. We had programs where an agent needed 10 legacy systems open to serve a single customer. Wow. The thing is, I'm laughing, but one of the centers I was in recently, they had 7, 5 all the time, 2 more were ready to be used pretty much all the time. So it's not a stretch. I mean, 10, that's bananas, isn't it? Making things complex before they even get the complex inquiries. How many old, in inverted commas, unsuitable systems do we use that we don't define as legacy heritage? I was thinking actually, Danny, they should kind of have define the term legacy. Legacy means it is older than 5 years or whatever. I don't know, because at what point does your system become a legacy system? So, what is the cost? Legacy applications are too costly to replace, which is something that they kind of kick off this section with. The following chart shows this would be too expensive for many respondents, particularly those in mid-sized operations. Of those contact centers that use legacy systems and which provided a definite answer to this question, 34% agree or strongly agree that this is too expensive an option, a similar proportion to those who do not think replacing legacy systems is too costly. It's not just the cost to consider. It may be that the time and upheaval to replace systems is too great, or that the systems in place do an effective job and that replacing them would add little business value. Neris says this question should be, we are reliant on legacy, old, clunky crap. desktop applications. I would Neris you need to do an edit of the whole report to put it in your language. I would love that. I've seen a large contact center that had 3 GUIs for the advisors, which then spoke to over 30 back-end systems. When one of those went down, the GUI would go down. Wow, systems down. The advisors wouldn't think of those as legacy, but that spaghetti in the background absolutely was. Yes, there's too many dependencies there, isn't it, for things to go wrong. And when we look at the next one is legacy applications are fully integrated with the other desktop applications. Sorry, Nick. The challenge is that many of the systems that the contact center relies on are core to the business's operations where they function fine and cost hundreds of millions to implement and configure and run. Changing that for the contact center alone doesn't carry sufficient weight. Very good point, Nick. Neris says, I was with a customer last week, 3 years and millions of pounds to replace. It's not an undertaking for lots. Very true. Spencer's here. Hello, Spencer. Have you heard the recent news that Silversea has relocated its UK call center operations to the Philippines to provide 24-hour support to agents worldwide? Is this a sign that companies are considering moving out of the UK due to increasing costs? Good question, Spencer. I will let the more intelligent people watching to answer that, because from my point of view, we've kind of been here and we're always there. Got to change that tire whilst the car's still going too, Neris. Yeah, it's a conundrum for many, isn't it? It is a conundrum. So it's not just the cost, is it? It is the disruption, and there doesn't seem to be much appetite for it. So if legacy systems are vital, yet for some businesses do not want to replace them, have they at least fully integrated with the other desktop applications? The answer is a very firm no, particularly amongst larger contact centers. And from your comments, that's what you are saying. I wonder who does this well. Who does integrate within legacy and their systems? Spencer Collins, Danny's answer. There you go. Yes. Though that has often been the case, whether it's outsourcing shared services or offshoring, it's rarely a decision based on CX or EX first. Yes, discuss. Seeing a slight move back overseas from Australia too, says Alistair. COVID forgotten, cost is a priority. So after we're now a few years past, aren't we, COVID, we're starting to see a new pattern emerging, maybe. Neris answers as well, Spencer, saying cost and the capabilities with real-time translation through generative AI means the CX implications of offshoring are now manageable. Well, maybe this is a question for us on the show next week. You know, what are we seeing from offshoring, onshoring? What are the patterns that we are observing? Daily, I put in news into the team leader community, and there does seem to be more movement, certainly. And as Neris says, you know, real-time translation through generative AI is now very much an option. So, yeah, CX implications of that means it's certainly something that you can do. How good it is, I guess, is the question. We have rattled through this show. I do want to say I won't keep banging on about this, but I do want to thank you all for giving up your time to come and do this. I know, especially coming back off a bank holiday, it's a drain on your time, certainly. So I'm very, very thankful. When real-time AI translation is effective, we're in for some big geographical moves. I guess this is going to keep everyone on their toes, isn't it? Big one here from Spencer. I understand there's a lot of talk about AI fatigue. I came across a recent report regarding Poly AI. AI-generated voices for call centers. They just completed a $50 million funding round. valuing the company at nearly 500 million. Do you believe that companies are increasingly depending on AI over human employees? Look at this straight away. I judged them for a Best Tech Award. Very, very impressive. So, this is something we've talked about on this show quite a few times, isn't it? It's coming. How we embrace it, how we use it, how we adapt to it. Ultimately, we're here to service customers, and we are finding new and interesting ways to do that. And if we can't adapt and we can't change, then we will not be doing this work in a few years time. So I think from a I guess observer's point of view, it's fascinating. We've got to be open to change. Amongst our network, we know people. If you don't know about it, obviously Neris does. So we should be talking to each other about what that looks like. And maybe one of the things we can do on this show is have a bit of a panel so you guys can come in and talk about it. Let me write that down as an idea. For me, yes and no. Companies do place profit over people routinely. If AI can provide OPEX savings via reducing people costs, salary mistakes, then it's natural, rightly or wrongly, that it'll be prioritized over people. Yeah, it's the way of the world. But perhaps we have a bit of a debate where we actually get you guys into this studio and we do it. Now, thank you, Kerry, Alistair, Aman, for putting together, saying you want the planner. Aman says, how's the book coming along? Oh, yeah, good point, Aman. I'm chasing other people's contributions, to be honest with you. So it's still coming, but it's coming slowly. Nice job bagging the award. No, I did not. I couldn't afford a toy one. But thank you very much, Spencer. Thanks everyone for your well wishes. I warn you in advance, I'm going to be spamming the living daylights out of LinkedIn with this, because it's probably the only time it's going to happen. But it is nice when your work is recognized as just being different. And that's all I ever really wanted to do, was to do something innovative, something that I enjoyed, and something that engages as many of you as possible. Helen BM and I have a panel this afternoon on hybrid working, including some AI impact. If you're interested, check my post. Yes, please do. With you two on the panel, it's bound to be good. I'm still going to send it, Alistair. Don't you worry. I'll sweeten the deal by saying, send to my mum in the UK, no Aussie postage. Well, afterwards, so then let's just do Aman, Kerry, and Alistair. If you can message me on LinkedIn the address that you would like the planner sent to, I will send it to you. Saves me doing a draw as well. So thank you everybody for being here today. I hopefully will see you all next Tuesday. We won't be following a bank holiday. I hope you have a great rest of the week, a shorter week, and I hope it is productive and happy for you all. Oh, my gal top's there, look. Spence is still there. Yeah, I still can't stop watching wearing Gymshark. So thank you all. Have a lovely day, and I will see you all next Tuesday.